Hi everyone, lovely to be with you again. Those of you in person here today for our July conversation gathering, and those of you who watch the recordings. As usual, I'll just offer a little bit of reflection and then a guided exploration, and then we'll open for your insights, your questions, your inquiry, your unfolding. One of the experiences that drew me and continues to draw me to this kind of conversation was a mantra that I learned as part of a training course I was on. I'm just going to mute everybody just to have a clear line for this part. A mantra I learned that is derived from the Upanishads. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, by the way, which is a Hindu philosophy. And just very simply put, the mantra is, lead me from the unreal to the real. And it's repeated in different ways. Lead me from the darkness into the light. Lead me from death into eternal life. And the Sanskrit mantra is a lot more vocally resonant than the English translation, but it's got this beautiful resonance and repetitive inward drawing effect. At least for me, it has that effect. And that's really what we're up to here, you know, as we just gather, is to, we turn towards this gathering, we turn inwards, we turn to face each other as mirrors of our true self. And the inquiry that we enter into and the sharings of our unfolding that we offer as insights, or we offer as confusion, that then is looked at together and reveals what is really being seen, is an injection of light into the darkness that we are unconsciously or unwittingly identifying with and as. So we're all leading each other here, kind of the blind leading the blind, because we are identified with our beliefs until we're not. We believe what we think is true until we don't. And so believing what we think is true and identifying with our beliefs is not a wrongness. It is what happens until it doesn't. And what we're up to here is that the intelligence that we are, that is absolutely ready to let go believing what appears to be true, to let go believing what appears to be true, and to go by what is actually real, what is truth with a capital T. We're here to access that intelligence that is so ready to let go, going by believing what thought says is true, and to realize what is real. The word realize contains real. To go by realization, to live by realization, as opposed to living by our beliefs, as opposed to living by what we are taking to be true that isn't. And my goodness, you know, the mechanism, the very I'll call the intelligence of the mechanism that leads us to believe that what we take to be true is true. That mechanism is highly developed. We can be convinced that we are on the right path or about to make the right decision based on what is real and true. And yet, a day later or 5 years later, we go, duh, that was a real mistake there. You know, I really thought that what was true was true. And yet now I see differently. Of course, we don't take, in that example, what I refer to as a mistake to be a mistake. Because any suffering, any uncomfortableness is in terms of inquiry in this investigation of moving from what is taken to be real but isn't, and moving towards what is actually real. That any discomfort, any suffering is not a point of fact. It is an experience. It's a point of information. Any discordance, uncomfortableness, dissatisfaction, suffering is a point of information, not a point of fact. And at the point of information, the information contained in the discomfort, always, 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 when we move closer to that discomfort, reveals that what we're taking to be true and real is not. There's this constant revelation that can be trusted when we move towards the pain, the suffering, and the discomfort. The reward is always a revelation of the deeper truth. That what we take to be real is made of thoughts being believed. And what is actual, fundamentally, that there is nothing there. All appearances are appearances, and there is nothing substantial. Experience can have intensity, but even the most intense experience, there's nothing substantial. It's what Shakespeare says is much ado about nothing. There's a nothingness, there's a void. Now, to the mind and to the culture is after acquiring, having, getting, and believing that experiences are to be held onto or pushed away. They're taken to be substantial. But really, when we dive in, we explore what appears to be real. We don't need to be quantum physicists here. We don't need to believe the quantum equations that the physicists, quite happily teach, that there is no solid matter anywhere. We don't have to kind of even believe that quantum theory. We can experientially know that what we take to be real is not. We experience a lightening of ourself, a lightening, a more spacious sense of being, the movement away from suffering, and a clarity that is a clarity that absolutely appreciates what appears to be real, appreciates the amazingness of what appears to be real, the diversity of life in all its forms, appreciates all of that diversity and appreciates how amazing it is that all of that appears real. And simultaneously knows that all that appears to be real isn't. That there's only a luminescent, infinite light and presence that I refer to frequently as the quality and the beingness of love. So, and we can come at this, this appears to be real, Fiona. My suffering appears to be real. My experience seems to be real. The world and what's happening appears to be real. We can come at this investigation from many different angles. And when we begin to experience over and over and over again, oh, what appears to be real isn't, then we simply become predisposed to meet the moment, meet each moment with clear seeing that sees through the appearance and knows, realizes what's really going on, what's really happening, what's really being pointed to.